You for your effort, your hard work. People have no idea how hard this family worked. They worked, and they worked for you.
First Lady Melania Trump also made short remarks to the crowd, thanking supporters. President Trump will not attend the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. That's going to occur in 3 hours. Instead, he'll take Air Force One to his Florida resort. As Trump leaves Washington, Vice President-elect Joe Biden is attending Mass at St. Matthew's Cathedral in Washington with Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. They're being joined by a bipartisan group of congressional leaders. That includes House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Senate Democratic Leader Chuck Schumer, and House Republican Leader Kevin McCarthy. Parts of Washington, D.C. are on high alert 1 day ahead of the presidential inauguration. NPR's Franco Ordonez tells us more.
Among the many measures, he plans to order masks be worn on federal property. He will revoke President Trump's travel ban affecting Muslim-majority nations and extend the ban on evictions and foreclosures as a result of the pandemic. Susan Rice, Biden's domestic policy advisor, said he'll also put racial justice at the center of his agenda, and that starts with an executive order instructing agencies to conduct a baseline review of inequities in their programs and policies.
The president-elect has promised to root out systemic racism from our institutions, and this initiative is a first step in that historic work.
Biden officials say the 17 actions are just the first of many to come over the next several weeks. Franco Ordonez, NPR News.
More than 24 million cases of the coronavirus have been reported in the U.S., and more than 400,000 people have died here of COVID-19. Now, health officials are warning new variants of the coronavirus are emerging worldwide. NPR's Michaeline Duclef has more.
There's also a variant spreading in South Africa and 2 in Brazil, which have mutations in them, which in the lab can decrease the ability of antibodies to neutralize the virus. And so what's worrying about that is that, yes, these variants may more easily reinfect a person who's already been sick and possibly make the vaccine a little less effective.
Meanwhile, public health officials in Maine are investigating how several shipments of the Moderna vaccine were spoiled. They were exposed to too warm temperatures. This is NPR.
The time is 4 minutes after 9. This is WJCT News 89.9 in Jacksonville. I'm Michelle Corum. Andrew Jackson High School's Flying Lady Tigers drill team will be among a select group of performers taking part in today's presidential inaugural parade. Although unlike previous inaugural parades, this one will be virtual. Major Trent Johnson is the commander of Andrew Jackson's Air Force Junior ROTC program, which includes the Flying Lady Tigers. The drill team was told to showcase their city, so Johnson says they shot their 30-second video for the parade across America in front of Friendship Fountain on the South Bank.
We can get the bridges, I can get the city skyline, but just the name, it just seemed that for what we were doing, and for everything that this country has been through the past year or so, I wanted to send a message without being preachy.
Cadet Second Lieutenant Patrice Lindsay is among the young performers who worked hard for their chance on the national stage.
This is a great opportunity, not as just a drill team, not as just a school, but if I'm not mistaken, we're the only group that's been qualified in the state of Florida.
The Presidential Inaugural Committee says all 56 U.S. states and territories will be represented in the parade across America. It starts at 3:15 this afternoon and will be live streamed online at bideninaugural.org/watch, as well as on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Right now in Jacksonville, it's 45 degrees.
Support for NPR comes from iDrive, providing cloud backup, full system backup, and on-site iDrive appliance to protect PCs, Macs, and servers from data loss due to crashes and ransomware at iDrive.com/NPR and Americans for the Arts.
With too much demand, not enough supply, it's a mad scramble to get more shots into arms here in Florida. Good morning. We're live from Studio 5. I'm Melissa Ross, and this is First Coast Connect. Thanks for listening. Just ahead, the latest options for you on how you can get access to a COVID vaccine. Lots of information coming in all the time. We want to update you, and we're going to do it on this show. You can call us with your questions, too. Give us a call. It's 549-2937. Then later, why a new study out of UNF says sitting is actually just as bad for you as smoking. It's one more incentive to get off the couch and get some exercise. First, though, this hour, the latest numbers on the pandemic. Duval County reported 40 more COVID-19 deaths Tuesday. That is a single-day record for Duval County. The state says 13 of those deaths were connected to long-term care facilities. Meanwhile, the statewide death toll in Florida increased by 162 for a total of 24,436 people. Johns Hopkins University reports that the death toll continues to climb around the nation, surpassing 400,000. Now, amidst these grim numbers, some good news. The city of Jacksonville today says it is opening up a new state-run COVID vaccination site at the Regency Mall in Arlington. That's where people have been getting tested for COVID-19 for some time now. This announcement comes at the same time the city says it's running out of vaccine supply at some other local sites around town. We want to bring you up to date. Chad Nielsen is the infection prevention specialist at UF Health Jacksonville, and he's on the line now with the latest on this rush to get people vaccinated here in Florida. Hi, Chad. Always good to have you on the show. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me, as always.
And what are your questions about getting a COVID vaccine? And we want to hear your stories, too, as you've been trying to get those appointments. Share your stories and questions now. 549-2937 is the number to call. Emails to firstcoastconnect@wjct.org. Tweets to @MelissaInJax. Our Facebook page also open. So, Chad, the mayor says that the city's allotment of COVID-19 vaccines that they were using at 2 city-run sites will probably run out by tomorrow. They've been giving out hundreds of vaccines a day, both in Mandarin and at another senior center on the west side. It looks like those sites will probably shut down, but at the same time, it looks as though the Regency Square Mall location is going to be a new option for people to get vaccinated. That's good news.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is good news because that means the state still has vaccination dosage that they can give out. It's unfortunate that not only the city but all of the hospitals in the local area have seen our vaccination supply dwindle without resupply, but it's promising to see that vaccine is still available, and hopefully we'll get to Jacksonville soon.
You know, when we interview both local and state officials, Chad, they tell us they're doing everything they can to get more seniors and healthcare workers vaccinated. Those are the first categories eligible, but that there still just isn't enough supply coming in from the federal government. Can you share a little bit about the bottleneck and the problems that we're seeing and what's driving that?
Yeah, so I think what we're seeing is coming off of the news last week or the week before about this lack of federal reserve of the vaccine. We know that there's been struggles with the federal government trying to procure vaccine from both Pfizer and Moderna, and then we find out from the HHS secretary, which prompted his resignation, that there is no backup supply that the federal government can send to the states. And I think what we're seeing is the conclusion of that is that there's no vaccine available to push to the states. So obviously Pfizer and Moderna are working overtime to get vaccine produced, but ultimately we're seeing the effects of what the federal government's mismanagement has been of this campaign.
In hindsight, what should the feds have done differently, and what can we expect to change under the new Biden administration beginning today?
Well, I certainly think when Pfizer and other companies offered to sell the United States more vaccine, that was the first missed step by the government at the federal level. We should always have tried to procure as much Pfizer and Moderna vaccine as possible, and there was widespread reports that we turned down 2 contracts to do so as late as November. So I think that was one of the big fatal missteps that's causing this bottleneck of the vaccine right now. With the new Biden administration coming in, at least what the transition team and the health experts he's put in place have been saying is there is going to be a large national logistical push to get these not only procured from the vaccine companies, but down to the state level in a more organized manner. So that's something we can all look forward to.
If you have questions about how to access a COVID vaccine, give us a call. It's 549-2937. Okay, so what about new President Biden saying he's going to invoke the Defense Production Act to get more shots into arms? 100 million doses, I think he said, in 100 days. That's a high bar. Can he do it? And how can he do it?
Yeah, I think it is possible. It is a high bar, but invoking that act, which has been done many times over several years into the past, basically clears a lot of red tape and logistical hurdles and money hurdles to ramp up production or ramp up logistics to get things out to the general public in the state of an emergency. So I certainly think it's a high bar, but if we have the vaccine on hand, there's no reason utilizing the resources that we have, whether it's the National Guard, the military, or volunteers, to get these vaccinations out to the public. But first, it starts with clearing a lot of that red tape and getting our supply chain intact. And the new administration is talking about tapping people like Amazon, Walmart, other types of major logistical operation companies to get these vaccines out to the state. So I'm quite excited to see what's going to happen over the next few weeks in terms of getting this vaccination out to the public. And I think the viewers and listeners should be excited as well.
Now at UF Health, you are one of 5 sites around the state that is storing the Pfizer vaccine because it has to be kept in extremely cold temperatures. Some hospitals are vaccinating patients, healthcare workers. Tell us about how that is rolling along at UF Health Jacksonville.
Yeah, so we were one of the original Pfizer 5. We still are receiving Pfizer vaccine, although in a lot lower numbers than we had been in the past at the beginning of this vaccination campaign. But to date, UF Health Jacksonville has vaccinated over 11,000 people since we first started rolling this out in late December. So we are vaccinating as many employees as we can. If they, at this point, we are giving it to any of our employees who have offered it up, and we've extended that to families of our employees who are over the age of 65. We're starting to offer it through our clinics to patients over 65. We're trying to reach as many of those folks identified in the governor's executive order as possible. But we are hamstrung by the fact that we give our vaccine as quick as we get it. So without a steady supply, we're going to have to slow our efforts as well.
All right, let's go to some calls now for Chad Nielsen of UF Health Jacksonville. To bring you up to date, the Prima Osborne Convention Center is still the primary site to be vaccinated in Jacksonville. Every Thursday at 5 p.m., the Duval County Health Department opens up new appointment opportunities, so mark your calendar for that. Mayor Curry says they're going to set up another state-run vaccination site at the Regency Mall, although the city may soon be closing a couple of senior centers for local vaccination opportunities because they're running out of supply. What are your calls and questions? It's 549-2937. Heather is in Orange Park. Hello, Heather. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Go ahead.
Hi, I was wondering how to find out about getting my 73-year-old mom vaccinated. Every time we learn about a place to sign up, the appointments are already full.
Yeah, I'm hearing that everywhere, Heather. And I know that in Clay County, Ascension St. Vincent's just held a vaccination opportunity, and the appointments just filled up so fast is what I heard.
Yeah, as soon as we learned about that, it was already full. I don't know why I didn't know about it sooner. How can I find out in time to sign up?
Okay, so Chad, there are a lot of families out there in Heather's position. They're scrambling to get an appointment. They go online or they make a phone call and they're too late. What advice do you have for people in that situation?
Yeah, it's really tough. And Heather, I'm with you. I've got a mother who has pre-existing conditions, and I'm also trying to get vaccinated as well. This is a common problem, and I'll give you all a sense of how much the demand is affecting state resources. So here in Duval County, one of my colleagues at the Department of Health said if they only had 1,000 vaccines to offer via appointment, they had 400,000 people click the website to schedule an appointment. which then crashed the website. So the demand is massive, and unfortunately we just don't have enough stock in the city right now to accommodate everyone. So this is a theme that it's not just a Duval or Clay or Nassau or St. John's thing. It's statewide. The demand is huge. We just don't have enough vaccination. So what I will say is keep your eye on the FDOH, Clay, or Duval County websites. They frequently release information about when they're going to put appointment times out, but we're all in the same boat right now with trying to get those appointments. There's just not enough supply and not enough appointments for the demand.
Mary is in St. Johns County. Hi, Mary. Thanks for your call. Go ahead.
Hi. In reference to your last speaker, we are not all in the same boat. I have just moved from Duval to St. John's a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 76. I have underlying conditions. I have grandchildren going to school and bringing home COVID. One of them tested positive. I cannot get an appointment. I cannot find out when the appointments are going to be dispersed statewide or county by county. I was on the phone at 5 o'clock this morning, and
Right.
I am at risk.
Right. Now, for someone like Mary, Chad, let me ask you this. The Prime Osborne site, can Mary try to get online at the Prime Osborne vaccination site? Could she, even though she's moved to St. Johns County, could she go onto the Duval County Health Department's website at 5 o'clock Thursday, when it's my understanding they will open up a new slate of appointments? And could she try to get an appointment through that portal?
She certainly can try. I think that Duval County has been very liberal with who they will vaccinate at that site. I'm not hearing that you have to be a county resident to go to the Prime Osborne Convention Center and get that vaccination. But like I said, they may only have 1,000 to 2,000 appointments, and the demand is massive. So again, I understand folks' concerns about getting this vaccine. It's just that the demand is far outstripping the supply, and that's not anything that the city or the hospitals can control.
Mary, I would advise you to at least try that tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Log on to the Duval County Health Department website, try to get an appointment at the Prime Osborne Center, and keep trying. And we'll keep trying to update you as more supply becomes available. So I appreciate your situation, Mary, and I'm so sorry you're in it.
Yeah. Which sites require county versus state residency?
Well, as Chad said, the Prime Osborne site is basically vaccinating anyone who wants to make an appointment. The new site at the Regency Mall, we're told you have to be a Florida resident, although I don't think you have to be a Duval County resident, Chad. So she could maybe try that too.
Yeah, that's correct. So the Regency Mall Center, that's a state of Florida run operation, and so as long as you're a Florida resident, regardless of county, they should be able to vaccinate you as long as you can get an appointment. I believe their appointment phone number is live starting today, and an online system, although is not available to make appointments, one will be coming soon.
So Mary, just call that number. Call the city of Jacksonville. I'd advise you to start there and call the number to try to get an appointment at the Regency Mall site. If that doesn't work, try the Prime Osborne site beginning at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And thank you for your call. Woody in Arlington. Go ahead, Woody. Hi, Woody. Go ahead and turn your radio down and go ahead.
All righty. Thank you very much. I live in Arlington, and I go to the family practice on Merrill Road for all my medical needs, which is, from what I understand, Merrill Road Family Practice is part of the Cairns family. Can I get my shot there?
Thanks for that question. Chad.
Yeah, hi Woody. So if you are signed up for My UF Health, so the online appointment system, you should have some mail waiting for you about how to make an appointment to get vaccinated through the UF system. So again, you can contact your local clinic office there on Merrill Road. If you don't have the MyUF Health system, you can get it through them and hopefully schedule an appointment. It's all based on availability, though, but we are starting to offer that to our above 65 patients, yes.
And here's a tweet from the city that went out an hour ago for the caller who just tried to get information from St. Johns County and for everyone. This is just live this morning. The number to call to get a vaccination appointment at the Regency Mall is 1-866-200-3762. If you are a Florida resident, 65 or older, call this number to try to get an appointment at the new Regency Mall vaccination site. Again, the number is 1-866-200-3762. So try that, folks, and we'll keep updating you. Let's go to Yvonne on the south side. Hello, Yvonne. Go ahead, Yvonne.
Hello. I'm concerned this morning. My husband and I made a 30-mile round trip to the Mandarin Senior Center, and it may as well have been a super spreader event there at the vaccination site. People were not wearing their masks properly or not at all on some cases. There was no social distancing. Groups of 5 and 6 people mingled with other groups. I talked to a police officer, had them bring the gentleman out who was coordinating that day's efforts. And I told him how concerned I was that I didn't feel safe standing in line there. And he said that they couldn't chastise people, that they were adults, that they had tried to get people to social distance and wear their masks, and hadn't been successful at it since the very start of the vaccination there at the Mandarin Senior Center. So now what do we do?
Right. Well, were you able to get vaccinated, Yvonne?
No. I refused to even get in the line. And my husband's appointment was, not appointment, but birth month day was Friday, and mine was supposed to be Monday of this week. And I told that gentleman, I'm not coming back Monday. I'm having to go away and do a real hard think about this one.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, thanks for the call. That's Yvonne on the south side. Chad, you know, there is a mask mandate in Duval County. Mayor Curry, to his credit, has consistently extended it every month through this pandemic, although we don't have one at the statewide level. But, you know, there's no real penalty for most people when they don't follow the mandate.
Yeah, that's correct. Because of the governor's office's stance on counties and city levels enforcing masking, in fact, disallowing counties to be allowed to enforce masking with penalties or fines, it really undercuts the work that Mayor Curry has done and other local county and city government officials. So it's up to private businesses to enforce the masking mandates, and it's unfortunately up to people running these sites to enforce it. But ultimately, they're not having good luck because they have no teeth.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case. Lots of feedback on social media. June writes on our Facebook page, vaccination appointments at the Prime Osborne are filled within the first 10 minutes. For my appointment yesterday, I logged in at 4:56 p.m. last Thursday. I got the appointment at 5 o'clock, and by 5:12 p.m., all appointments were filled. Log in early and keep refreshing the site. Good advice. Here's a tweet for you, Chad, from Robin. We have an appointment at the Prime Osborne to get our second dose on February 2nd. Will there still be any vaccine available? She asks. That's a concern for people who've had one dose but not the second dose.
Yeah, and that's a pretty common concern, and rightfully so. The information we have right now, both with city, state, and in fact most hospitals, is that we are keeping enough vaccine to ensure that people can get their second dose. The mayor yesterday said it in his press conference along with our CEO, Dr. Haley, that if you have a second appointment scheduled, you will get your second dose. The state has carefully planned for that, or I should say the city has carefully planned for that, as are the hospitals. So she should rest well knowing that her second dose will be coming.
Okay, that's good news. And so we do have the two products, as we've been reporting, Chad, the Pfizer and the Moderna. What about the AstraZeneca vaccine that's also in the pipeline?
Yeah, so there's two other vaccines actually in the pipeline, one from Johnson & Johnson and one from AstraZeneca Oxford, and both have gone through their initial phase 2 trials, and they're moving on to their phase 3 trials as we speak. Once they get through phase 3, they'll be able to seek FDA emergency use authorization, and both look promising. The one we're really excited about is the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because it is a one-shot vaccine. So there won't be second follow-up doses or boosters. It's just one shot, and that's going to be a game changer for getting people vaccinated largely across the country. So AstraZeneca, from what we understand, is a 2-dose vaccine, and although we'll take as much vaccine as we can get from whoever has gotten that emergency use authorization, but the Johnson & Johnson shot is the really exciting one we're looking forward to.
That is exciting. So again, folks, it looks like the city may soon close the two city-run vaccination centers, one in Mandarin, one on the west side, because they are out of vaccination supply. At the same time, a new state-run vaccination site is opening up at the Regency Mall in Arlington. Call this number to try to get an appointment there. Again, I'm going to give the number one more time, 1-866-200-3762. And beginning tomorrow at 5 o'clock, go on to the Duval County Health Department website. Try to get an appointment at the Prime Osborne Convention Center for your COVID vaccine. Those are the latest options we have for you. And I want to thank you, Chad Nielsen, Infection Prevention Specialists, UF Health. Always so good to talk to you. Thank you, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, thanks, Melissa. I appreciate you having me on.
Much more coming up, meanwhile, later. Some positive news and notes for your midweek in our What's Good Wednesdays. But up next.
The bottom line here is this. 3 out of 4 U.S. adults do not meet the current federal physical activity recommendations.
We'll tell you why a new local study says sitting is actually just as bad for you as smoking. We'll be right back.
Amelia Island Tourism invites you to experience delicious during the 13th annual Amelia Island Restaurant Week, January 22nd through 31st, with prefix menus and culinary events, menus and getaway packages at ameliaisland.com/yummy.
At ViStar, members can think outside the branch. ViStar's internet and mobile banking lets you manage your account from wherever you are. Info at vistarcu.org. ViStar Credit Union, insured by NCUA.
Baptist Health and Wolfson Children's Hospital are here for children in or at risk of a mental health crisis. Our 24/7 Kids and Teens helpline is staffed by mental health experts and available to parents, kids, and teens. Call 904-202-7900.
BritBox and PBS Passport are now offering the best of all your favorite British drama, comedy, and more when you sign up at jacksbundle.com. Start watching today.
Welcome back. Well, we all know being sedentary is bad for your health, but a new local study tells us just how bad, saying that sitting is actually as dangerous to your health as smoking. Yes, It's more incentive than ever, as if we needed it, to get off the couch and get moving in this new year. I spoke about it with the study's author, Dr. James Chirilla, professor at UNF and director of their Exercise Science and Chronic Disease program. Hi, Dr. Chirilla. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Melissa.
It's a timely topic. In the month of January, I think people are more committed to exercise and eating well than any other month of the year. So it's good to get your insights about this. You just completed a study looking at sedentary time, or just sitting around, and the connection to heart failure. Tell us about your research.
Yeah, so this was a research study with a thesis student at UNF, and we used participants from the multi-ethnic study of atherosclerosis. So we looked at individuals who were between the ages of 45 and 85, and we wanted to see if there was a relationship or not between how much sedentary time they reported and incident heart failure, so over time. So originally when these people were interviewed and given their medical background information in the study, none of these people had heart failure, okay? Mm-hmm. So then in the period of time over the next 6 to 12 years, during follow-up, we noticed that individuals that reported anywhere from 4.5 hours or more per day of sedentary time had an increased risk of heart failure. And again, these people were followed prospectively, some of them for much longer than 10 to 12 years. So we found a significant association between how sedentary somebody is, in other words, how much they sit, how much they watch TV, just sedentary behavior, and heart failure.
Right. So that's something that people might not make the connection about. They don't realize just sitting around is bad for maybe bad for their health. There are easy ways to combat this, easier said than done for most of us. But you recommend just moving your body a little more than you have before each day. A little goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it actually does. I actually said earlier I discussed earlier in some research that we had done just about moving more and sitting less. And it doesn't mean that you have to be a marathon runner or go out and join a running club. This is not what we're talking about. You know, as a physical activity epidemiologist, my career started over 20 years ago. You know, we were studying people and how active they were. Now, inactivity's become so pervasive, we're studying people and how inactive they are.
Huh. And what's driving? Go ahead, you call it what?
We call it hypokinetic disease, lack of movement.
Wow. Why have we gone from being an active people to being a sedentary people? What are the biggest factors?
Yeah, the biggest driver, and this is well known, this is well published in the literature, the biggest factor is we've really gone from more of a labor hands-on nation to a hands-off technology nation. And, you know, everything is automated. I mean, you can wake up in the morning, you can clap your hands, your lights will go on, you can automatically set your coffee maker the night before, you can clap your hands and your garage will open and close, your blinds will go up and down. You know, people even take walks for their dog, and the dog is walking, and they're in their golf cart.
Right. I know. I've seen that too. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's really not funny. Now, let me ask you, Dr. Chirilla, in the pandemic, you have some special information and research to present as well about how we can return to exercise in the time of COVID-19, particularly for senior citizens. Tell us about your research there.
Yeah, so this particular paper that came out in the Health and Fitness Journal, it wasn't a study. It was more of a clinical paper. It was an information paper for fitness professionals and for the general public just to be healthy during the pandemic. Look, there is already enough reasons that people give us not to exercise, okay? And I can't get into that because we don't have enough time. So people make excuses all the time why. So now the pandemic is just going to be another one, all right? So But the bottom line here is this. 3 out of 4 U.S. adults do not meet the current federal physical activity recommendations. Those are 150 minutes a week of moderate exercise and 2 days a week of some sort of resistance training, whether it be resistance bands, free weights, whatever you want to call it, to work your muscles. Okay? So 3/4 of the nation already doesn't meet the recommendation. So we don't need any more excuses. And people like myself who have been working in this field as a practitioner and now as an academe, we're done hearing it, okay? There's a completely missed opportunity. It doesn't take a whole lot to be healthy. It just takes a little bit amount of effort and consistency. And I think consistency more than anything is what people are missing.
Right. So what you're saying is these are basic common sense things. Move more, sit less, incorporate what you call an exercise snack into your day. Just a little bite of exercise, maybe just a 5-minute walk around your neighborhood or your office once a day, right? Or every few.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly, Melissa. And you know, we I like to call them exercise snacks. The term started over in Australia with some research, and then we've done some research here. I've worked with Nemours in some children's research, and we use the term exercise snack in our study. We work with kids with diabetes, trying to break up their sedentary time. And basically all an exercise snack is taking a sedentary break. And that's kind of, you know, some people don't really understand that when you say sedentary break. That's kind of like, wait a minute, don't they mean the same thing? So no, they don't. What it means is taking a break from being sedentary. So, you know, we're just, as a nation, we're not used to hearing it like that because everything's all about, well, exercise, and I hate to exercise, and I don't want to exercise. Well, you know what? Sitting is the new smoking. And sitting and sedentary behavior is going to be responsible for more deaths than probably any of the other cardiovascular risk factors moving forward.
That's powerful. Sitting is the new smoking. If we think about it like that, that I think can motivate more people to get up off the couch and
I hope so.
Walk around the block, do some working out. Now, what do you say to people afraid to go into the gym due to the risk of COVID?
Yeah, so I want to get back to the latter part of your earlier question, and then I'll answer that. It was about elderly, and there's not anything real specific that they have to do any different than anybody else. It's just that they probably should take a few more precautions if they have some pre-existing conditions, like if they have high blood pressure, if they have diabetes. And so there is where, if you know, you go out, you take a walk, you may want to go alone, and if you are going to take a walk with a buddy, you definitely want to be masked up if you can't keep your 6 feet distance. And so that's very, very important. That's not just for the elderly, that's for everybody. Regarding the gyms, you know, someone asked me this question earlier in the week, and it's amazing how people think they can be safe in a gym because they know what to do because they're told what to do by the people in the gyms. And here's the problem. The problem is most people don't take hygienic precautions to begin with in the gym, okay? Because you're in a gym, and you're in there, and you're usually thinking about what you're going to do, not what somebody else is going to do. And maybe you might be courteous and wipe down a machine, or you might get one of those sanitizing machine when you're done. Well, that's the problem, especially during something like COVID, which is highly, highly contagious, okay? We also have things like MRSA that have been around that are highly contagious. So this is not something new to take a precaution in a gym. The best thing to do if you're going to return to a gym is, number one, keep your distance. Number two, wear a mask even while you're exercising. And number three, wipe down the machines or the equipment you're going to use before you use it, because you don't know the person before you did, and then wipe it down when you're done. Good
advice. I want to thank you. He's Dr. J, as they call him, Dr. James Chirilla. He is with Brooks College of Health, UNF, their professor and graduate program director in clinical and applied movement sciences. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's hope it motivates some people to get their blood pumping a little bit more.
Thanks for having me, Melissa.
The law offices of Phillips & Hunt proudly support WJCT, personal injury, criminal defense, and family law. Phillips & Hunt, committed to justice. 904-444-4444 or floridajustice.com. The University of North Florida combines high-quality academics with real-world experiences. Through more than 100 unique programs, students pursue their dreams while preparing for high-demand careers in the global marketplace. Uniquely UNF. More at unf.edu. River Garden, now in its 75th year, is committed to providing the highest quality of life to its residents, especially during these stressful times. River Garden recognizes everyone caring for seniors and specifically commends its staff for doing great work. More info at rivergarden.org.
Well, on Monday, the nation celebrated the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And to that end, TIAA Bank here in Jacksonville says it is awarding 3 $5,000 scholarships to local high school students. It's part of their new Be the Change scholarship program. Jessica Scott is with TIAA Bank, and she's on the line. Hey, Jessica, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Melissa.
Okay, so tell us about Be the Change and how it is supporting the work against racial injustice.
Sure. So back in June of 2020, which seems so long ago, but wasn't, our parent company, TIAA, actually launched the Be the Change initiative as a 4-pillar platform to support the work against racial injustice. The initiative has included lots of educational opportunities, a 5K fundraiser, and it actually, if you'll remember, it influenced our season-long promotion with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We did Selfies for Change.
Yeah, that was fun, but it had a serious purpose, right?
Absolutely. This is a serious topic. I mean, we do like to have a good time, and of course that 5K was a great time where we got to connect with colleagues and friends and families across the country, but it really did initiate sincere, deep conversations, and the idea behind the scholarship is very much the same. We're inspired by stories of local students who make a difference right here in our community. And so the Be the Change Scholarship is one way to recognize that good work and really continue to make a lasting change. It's exciting for us because our core values are centered on making our communities better. And this is one way we can do it.
Okay, so let's talk about how this works. This is open to high school seniors from 14 participating Jacksonville area high schools. And you're asking them to submit an essay. Tell us a little bit more about what you're looking for in the essay and who's eligible to take part in this.
Sure. So eligible students are seniors from those 14 participating high schools. You can find the list of those high schools on our website at tiaabank.com/scholarship, and it'll list all those there. And what we're looking for is we want the next generation's big idea for how the city and the community can tackle injustice together, racial injustice together. And we also want to know what part they'll play in that, like not just one big idea, but what part will the individual play? And they can submit their essay to that link, tiaabank.com/scholarship, and we'll select winners in February. And we'll announce them in February, too. So they have until the 31st. It's not a very long window, but we also really want authentic answers. We know that the students in Jacksonville are smart, and they are active, and they have a mind for this, and we're excited to hear what they come up with. They can put those pillars in play. The Be the Change pillars are understanding, dialogue, leadership, and action. And so we're really excited to see what they come up with.
And how did you come up with those 4 pillars?
It's actually part of the Be the Change, a whole initiative. This was just an extension of that. So this is sort of a roadmap to how we can affect real change in our communities, within our company, but also within our communities where we work and live.
And so as I look at the website, and by the way, again, I'll say this again before we go to break, tiaabank.com/scholarship, understanding. Encourage citizens to learn about proactive advocacy and anti-racism efforts. Dialogue. Promote meaningful interactions across members of the community. Leadership. Be the example in building diverse and inclusive teams. And action. Do your part to demonstrate inclusion and equality within the community. Now, let me ask you, Jessica, how does the bank try to live out those values at your corporate structure? Because certainly corporate America is working to do a better job with inclusion and equality and diversity in the workplace.
Absolutely. And, Melissa, that's something that we strive for every day. It is, again, part of our core values. These values come directly from our own core values. And we make it abundantly clear in everything we do. We do have employee advocacy groups. They are associate-led, and actually the gentleman who introduced the scholarship at the MLK breakfast last week is the former co-chair of one of those advocacy groups called Empower, and it's specifically aimed for folks who are advocates or who are African American or Black, Indigenous, persons of color. And that's one of the ways that we do it. We also actually have every month we have a group with a Heritage Month, or we dive deeper into topics. We offer lots of opportunities to learn more about, someone who may look different, be different, have a different background. And we do a lot of that at the corporate level, on the local level. And then, of course, we do that through our CRA, which is our Community Reinvestment Act work, and financial literacy education. So it doesn't just stop at our doors. The idea is that all of our values that we live within the corporation are taken out into the community.
And as I look at the contest rules, I want to give this information out to folks listening. If you're a high school senior at one of these 14 Duval County Public High Schools, you're eligible to win this $5,000 scholarship. Here are the schools: A. Philip Randolph Academies, Andrew Jackson High School, Ed White High, Englewood High, Grand Park Career Center, Rebote High, Lone Star High, Lee High, the School for Accelerated Learning and Technologies, Inc., Terry Parker High, The Bridge, West Side High, Rains High School, and Youth Development Center. Okay, so those are the schools, and you have to, keep this between 300 to 500 words. Here's what they're asking you to write. Describe a big idea the city of Jacksonville and our community can tackle together to help fight racial injustice that incorporates any one of the Be the Change pillars, and include what role you would play. And $5,000 is a nice scholarship amount, Jessica.
It is. We're excited to be able to offer 3 of those.
So there will be 3 winners. And as you said, you're going to announce them during Black History Month. I assume a virtual celebration, right?
Yes, we are still maintaining distance and we're being very safe. So we'll announce those winners. We'll, of course, contact them directly. So be sure to answer your phones, check your emails if you enter, because we want to be able to get in touch with you so we know who to make the check out to. And then we'll make the announcement. We're looking at the last week of February. So we're very excited to see what these students come up with. Again, we know just working in the community, especially through all of our financial education and financial literacy classes, we work with students in the community all the time, and they are so bright and have so many good ideas, and we can't wait to see what they come up with.
So again, enter now at tiaabank.com/scholarship. 3 $5,000 scholarships will be awarded through the bank's Be the Change Scholarship Initiative. She's Jessica Scott with the bank. That's what they call it over across the street from us, the bank. Jessica, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
All right. And in a moment, we've got some more good news for your week. Yes, it's our What's Good Wednesdays. That's after this. Keep listening. You're with First Coast Connect on WJCT News 89.9. We'll be right back.
Today's traffic report is sponsored by the University of North Florida, preparing future leaders, innovators, and difference makers for the First Coast and beyond. Uniquely UNF. More at unf.edu. Sporer Dodd is a personal injury law firm based in Jacksonville with over 150 years of legal experience. Sporer Dodd is known for their legal expertise, experience, and results. Learn more at sdlitigation.com.
Announcing Vickers Landing at Oak Bridge, bridging retirees with an all-new Ponte Vedra Beach community featuring new homes, a resort lifestyle, and services tailored for active retirees. Information at vickerslanding.com. Congaree & Penn, dedicated to agriculture and culinary endeavors, offering field-to-fork dining and outdoor experiences on over 300 acres. Sip, dine, explore. Information at congareeandpenn.com.
Inspired by America's wide-open terrain, Dvorak's New World Symphony is known as one of the most popular in the repertoire. Gonzalo Farias makes his Jacksonville Symphony Masterworks debut on January 22nd and 23rd, leading the orchestra's presentation of the work the New York Herald said is a noble composition of heroic proportions that produced a hymn and an anthem to what American music can be. Visit jacksymphony.org for tickets.
I pledge to be a president who seeks not to divide, but unify.
After a turbulent transition of power, Joe Biden now inherits many challenges in a divided nation. He's set to be inaugurated on the same stage where rioters overtook the Capitol. Join NPR later today for special live coverage of the inauguration from NPR News.
Today at 11 on WJCT News 89.9.
For all presidents, it is a defining moment.
This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
And certain lines can become iconic.
Our long national nightmare is over.
We'll set the scene from a Capitol fenced off and on edge. Next time on 1A.
Today at 10, here on WJCT News 89.9.
Welcome back. Well, today at noon, a new president will be inaugurated. And while the nation remains deeply divided about the outcome, it's indisputable that a new era is beginning. We're serving up some positive local news from the week to contribute to what most Americans hope will be some forward momentum in this challenging time. This is our What's Good Wednesdays, beginning with an inaugural poem that isn't only for grown-ups. Yes, a high school senior from Jacksonville, Hallie Knight, has some well-formed ideas about where the country is and how she'd like to see it change. 17-year-old Hallie has won a contest organized by the Academy of American Poets. Now, under this contest, students under the age of 18 were asked to write their own inaugural poems in anticipation of Wednesday's swearing in of President-elect Biden. The guidelines said applicants should submit work reflecting on the country's challenges, strengths, and hopes. Hallie's poem is called To Rebuild. It likens the U.S. to a house that has been severely but not hopelessly damaged. So congratulations to 17-year-old Hallie Knight of Jacksonville, the winner of the Academy of American Poets inaugural poem contest. Here's another winner. Andrew Jackson's high school Air Force Junior ROTC Flying Lady Tigers are among the more than 50 performers participating in the virtual presidential inaugural parade across America happening today. This is the first year the all-female drill team has been in existence. So being chosen to showcase the city of Jacksonville and represent the state of Florida in the inaugural parade is indeed a high honor. Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Keziah Hill says her team practiced long and hard for the opportunity to perform on the national stage.
Originally, it was going to be in Washington, but of course we still had to work hard to get into it, and we did. So it's an honor to be a part of it.
Now, the Flying Lady Tigers of Jackson High shot their video for the virtual parade across America in front of Friendship Fountain on Jacksonville's South Bank. The parade starts at 3:15 p.m. today. You can check it out live streamed on social media and on the Biden inaugural website. Go Lady Tigers. Well, the pandemic has been so tough on locally owned restaurants, it really just makes you want to cry. That is why it's exciting to see local Italian standout Prati Italia is going strong. They're even celebrating their one-year anniversary this week with some cool special offers, courtesy of Chef Tom Gray and his team. Chef Tom's Circle members receive double points for dining January 18th through the 24th. All diners and to-go orders during the next week receive a voucher to enjoy their friends and family discount on your next visit or to-go order. All pickup and delivery orders for the month of January will be eligible to win a $25 gift card. Some of the things locally owned restaurants are doing to keep diners coming in these times, so check it out in Manja. Well, they've often been overshadowed by creative bastions like Riverside, but the talented musical community at the beaches continues to produce some of the city's most distinctive sounds. Make sure to listen tomorrow on Thursday's show when we take in the beautiful noise of Northeast Florida during our regular Audio Void segment with Void editor Matt Shaw as we listen to local musical talent, some of whom are making big waves on the national music scene. That's going to be tomorrow. And if you'd like some good news delivered to your inbox each week, just subscribe to our What's Good Wednesday e-newsletter at wjct.org. We send it out every Wednesday around noon. If you have something you'd like us to add to our weekly menu of positive news in this tough time, send it to us. Email us at firstcoastconnect@wjct.org, and we will consider your item for inclusion in What's Good Wednesdays. And that is our show. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks to producer Heather Schatz, along with director Josh Torres, who's really a co-producer of the program. Our news director is Jessica Palumbo, and our digital editor is Bill Bortsfield. Again, send those emails to firstcoastconnect@wjct.org. And make sure to keep listening to 89.9 Today. Full live inauguration coverage begins here on the radio at 11 a.m. I'm Melissa Ross. This is First Coast Connect on WJCT News, 89.9 Jacksonville. We'll be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and everyone, have a great day on this Inauguration Day.
Support for First Coast Connect is provided by Baptist Health and the North Florida TPO.